Money isn't the enemy, and it isn't the answer either. It's just a tool that can either build your freedom or quietly shape your prison. The problem isn't money itself. The problem is what happens when you don't know how to control it. When you let it make your choices, define your worth, dictate your peace. That's when money stops being a resource and starts becoming a ruler. Look around. Most people aren't chasing dreams. They're chasing bills, working jobs they hate to pay for things they don't need, just to impress people they don't even like. That's what happens when money becomes the master. It owns your time. It owns your decisions. It owns your life. But it doesn't have to be that way. You don't have to be rich to take control. You don't have to be a financial genius to build stability. What you need is a new relationship with money, one rooted in clarity, purpose, and ownership, because money will always be a part of your life. The question is, who's in charge? This isn't a video about getting rich quick. This isn't about hype, hacks, or secrets. This is about waking up, about seeing money for what it really is, a tool. And like any tool, it can be used to build something powerful, or it can be left to rust in the corner while you struggle without it. So if you're ready to stop surviving and start building, if you're tired of money being the reason you say no to the life you want, then this is where everything starts to change. Because the truth is simple. You either master money, or it masters you. Let's start with something no one ever really taught us. What is money? Really? Not the paper, not the plastic, not the number on your banking app, but the meaning you've given it, the emotion it holds, the story it tells about your life. Most of us grew up with a distorted view of money. We were taught to chase it, fear it, worship it, or avoid it altogether. Some of us were told it's the key to happiness. Others were told it's the root of all evil. But the truth is, money is neither. It's not moral. It's not emotional. It's not good or bad. It's neutral. It's a tool, like fire, like a knife, like a hammer. It can build or destroy, depending on whose hands it's in and how it's used. If you believe money is dirty, you'll always feel guilty having it. If you believe money is power, you'll do anything to get it, even if it costs you your values. And if you believe money is out of reach, you'll never stop feeling like you're behind. That's why it's not enough to earn more or save more. You have to unlearn. You have to rewrite the script. Because until you change what money means to you, nothing else will really stick. So here's the new truth. Money is a resource. That's it. A resource that allows you to move through life with more options, more flexibility, more peace. It doesn't define who you are. It doesn't determine your worth. It doesn't decide what kind of person you can be. But it does decide how much choice you have, how much time you own, how much space you get to breathe. You can be a good person and be wealthy. You can be a selfish person and be broke. Money only amplifies who you already are. So stop making it emotional. Start making it intentional. Money doesn't care how you feel about it, but your life will reflect how you treat it. From this moment on, stop chasing money. Start commanding it. Stop letting it stress you, shame you, or slip through your fingers. Start using it, like any great tool, with precision, with discipline, with purpose. Because once you see money clearly, without fear or fantasy, you begin to make decisions not from desperation, but from direction. And that's the first real step to freedom. There are only two kinds of people when it comes to money: those who serve it, and those who command it. Those who live in reaction, and those who live in strategy. Most people, whether they realize it or not, are living as financial slaves. And no, that doesn't mean poor. You can be making six figures and still be trapped. Trapped in debt, trapped in pressure, trapped in a life where every decision is filtered through fear, through limitation, through, can I afford it? Instead of, does this align with my values? Financial slavery isn't just about income. It's a mindset. It's the feeling of working every day and still having no real control. It's when you don't own your time. When you stay in a job you hate just because the bills don't stop. When you keep saying yes to things that drain you because you're afraid of what would happen if you lost that paycheck. And then there's the other side, financial mastery. It's not about being rich. It's about being in charge. It's when you make money decisions based on intention, not desperation. It's when you know where your money goes, what it's doing, and why it's doing it. It's when your financial system serves you, not the other way around. Mastery starts with awareness. Ask yourself, do you tell your money where to go? Or do you wonder where it went? Do you save out of purpose or panic? Do you invest with confidence or avoid it out of fear? These questions matter, because until you shift from reacting to directing, you'll always be chasing, never building. To move from slave to master, you don't need to earn millions. You need to take ownership. Build a plan. Get honest about where you are. Start tracking. Start learning. Start thinking long-term. Mastery is built in the small decisions. What you buy, what you ignore, what you delay, what you prioritize. This isn't about shame. This is about power. Because every day you continue living in reaction. Money controls you, but every day you choose discipline, clarity, and consistency. You take that power back, one decision at a time. So ask yourself right now, who's in control, you or your money? And if the answer isn't you, then this is the moment to change that. Because freedom doesn't come from how much you have. It comes from how much command you hold over what you already do. Money doesn't just live in your wallet. It lives in your choices, in your thoughts, in your relationships, in your identity. Whether you notice it or not, money has been quietly shaping your life for years. Not just what you buy, but who you believe you can become. Think about it. How many times have you said no to something meaningful, not because you didn't want it, but because you couldn't afford it? How many job opportunities, travel plans, dreams, or even simple joys have you pushed away because of money? Not because it was impossible, but because the fear of not having enough kept you small. Money affects your confidence. When you're broke, you walk differently, you speak differently, you dream smaller, you settle more, you carry this invisible weight that nobody else sees. But you feel it every time you walk past something you want. Every time you look at your bank app. Every time the bills come in and you already know the numbers don't add up. Money affects your relationships. It causes fights, creates resentment, makes people stay in situations they've outgrown, or walk into situations they don't believe they deserve. It can bring people together, or quietly drive them apart. And worst of all, money affects your identity. You start to believe your worth is tied to your balance. You let your paycheck determine your peace. You tell yourself that maybe this is just how life is, and you stop reaching. Stop asking. Stop trying. But here's the truth. Money only has that much power if you give it permission. It's not money itself that limits you. It's the meaning you attach to it. The story that says, I can't. I'm not ready. I'm not good enough. Just because of a number. You have to separate who you are from what you have. You are not your bank account. You are not your debt. You are not your past financial mistakes. You are not behind, unless you choose to stay there. The moment you stop letting money define your self-worth and start making it serve your purpose, that's when everything begins to change. That's when you move from being controlled to being in control. So take a hard look. Where has money been calling the shots in your life without your awareness? What have you put on hold? Not because of reality, but because of fear? Because when you see it clearly, you can start to change it. And once you change your relationship with money, you don't just change your finances, you change your future. You don't master a tool by owning it. You master it by knowing how to use it. And the same goes for money. You could be earning well, living decently, and still feel out of control if you don't have a system. Because when you don't give your money direction, it will find its own, usually toward distraction, indulgence, or regret. So how do you take control? How do you stop money from managing you and start managing it like a true builder, a creator, a strategist? It begins with clarity. You have to know where your money is going. Every dollar needs a purpose, a job, a mission, Money without a role becomes noise, but money with a role becomes power. So the first step is simple: track everything. No judgment, no shame, just awareness, because you can't fix what you refuse to face. Next is structure. This is where you start assigning your money into categories, not just needs and wants, but goals. Think in terms of short-term stability, mid-term growth, and long-term freedom. Think in percentages, not feelings. Think like a builder, not a spender. Your budget is not a punishment, it's a blueprint. It's not about restriction, it's about direction. Then comes discipline, and this is where most people fall off. Because discipline isn't exciting, it's not loud, it's not instant, but it's what builds everything that lasts. Discipline is telling your money no in the moment so you can say yes to something greater later. It's delaying pleasure to accelerate freedom. It's choosing progress over impulse. And the more you do it, the stronger you get. And finally, automation. The best systems don't rely on motivation, they rely on consistency. Set up your finances in a way that works even when you're tired, distracted, or emotional. Automate your savings, automate your investments, automate your bills. Make your financial success the default, not the exception. When you start managing your money this way, like a builder managing bricks, you stop feeling powerless. You stop wondering where it all went. You stop waking up with anxiety and go to bed with clarity. Because the truth is, money is a tool, and tools don't run wild on their own. They wait for your hands, your command, your vision. The question is, are you using money with purpose, or just hoping it behaves? If you want to build freedom, security, and peace, you have to be intentional. You have to take control. Not someday, now. Money becomes dangerous when you fear it, chase it, or ignore it. But when you understand it, respect it, and use it, that's when it becomes your ally. Not your God, not your enemy, but your teammate, your builder, your amplifier. When money becomes your ally, everything changes. You stop working just to survive. You start working with strategy. You stop buying to impress. You start spending to align. You stop living paycheck to paycheck. You start building a system that buys your time, your focus, and your freedom. Because that's what money is meant to do. Buy you back. Buy you back from burnout, from dependency, from doing things you hate just to get by. When you master money, you're no longer living on the edge. You're living on your terms. You get to say no to what drains you and yes to what drives you. Money is not just about luxury. It's about leverage. Leverage to rest. Leverage to walk away from what no longer serves you. Leverage to build something greater than just comfort. Something meaningful. Something yours. And when you reach that place, where money serves your mission, you start using it to grow, to learn, to give, to protect the people you love, to back the causes you believe in, to buy not just things, but impact. You stop chasing more just to have more. You start using money like a weapon of intention. Every dollar becomes a vote for the life you want to live. Every decision becomes a reflection of your values, not your fears. And the irony is, when money stops being your master, it starts multiplying. Because you're no longer wasting it to feel better. You're no longer spending it to fill the void. You're using it with clarity. And clarity creates overflow. This is what financial mastery looks like. Not hoarding money. Not worshiping it, but directing it with wisdom. Making it work for you, so you can work for something bigger. Because money doesn't have a soul. You do. And when you use money in alignment with your soul, that's when it becomes your greatest asset. Even the best tool becomes dangerous in the wrong hands. And money, as powerful as it is, can wreck your life if you don't know how to use it. Most people don't fail because they lack money. They fail because they misuse it. They treat it like a toy, a weapon, or a crutch, instead of a tool. The first mistake, spending for validation. Buying things to prove your worth, impress people, or silence insecurity. It might look like success on the outside, the clothes, the car, the lifestyle, but inside, you're exhausted, drowning in debt, living a lie you can't afford to keep up. You don't need more stuff. You need more self-respect. The second mistake, letting emotions drive financial decisions. Retail therapy, impulse purchases, avoidance, panic, guilt. These are feelings, not strategies. Money doesn't respond well to feelings. It responds to structure. And if you don't separate emotion from decision, you'll keep repeating the same cycle: buy, regret, recover, repeat. The third mistake, living without a plan. No budget, no target, no direction. Just hoping it all works out. But hope is not a system. If you don't tell your money where to go, it will vanish without warning. Every dollar needs a job. Every goal needs a roadmap. Winging it is not wisdom. It's procrastination dressed as freedom. Then there's the mistake of comparison. Looking at someone else's financial life and trying to keep up. Without knowing their story, you don't know if they're funded by debt, inheritance, or silent anxiety. Don't copy someone else's highlight reel with your real income. Stay in your lane. Build from your truth. And finally, the most dangerous mistake of all, doing nothing. Telling yourself you'll deal with it later. Pretending things will magically change. Delaying decisions until life forces your hand. Every moment you avoid your money is a moment it quietly takes control. And the longer you wait, the harder it gets to rebuild. But here's the good news. You don't need to be perfect. You don't need to undo years of mistakes overnight. You just need to be honest, brave, willing to pause, reflect, and reset. That's how you start to use the tool the right way. Because once you recognize how you've been misusing money, not out of malice, but out of habit, you give yourself permission to stop, to choose different, to live smarter, not harder, not louder, just wiser. And that shift, that's what separates people who are consumed by money from those who command it. At the end of the day, it's simple. Either you master money, or it masters you. There is no middle ground. No neutral zone. No, it'll figure itself out. Because money, when left unchecked, doesn't sit quietly in the background. It creeps into your thoughts, your choices, your relationships, your peace. And if you don't take control, it will take control for you. Quietly, slowly, brutally. It'll shape the job you stay in, the life you settle for, the dreams you shelve. It'll keep you in survival mode when you were meant to thrive. It'll have you saying no to everything that matters, just to keep up with everything that doesn't. That's not freedom. That's not power. That's not living. But when you flip the script, when you take the wheel, everything changes. You start telling your money what to do instead of wondering where it went. You start using it to build, to grow, to protect, to expand. You stop being a servant. You become a strategist. And no, it doesn't happen overnight, but it starts in a moment. One moment, like this one, where you decide, I'm done letting money lead. I lead now. So take the knowledge, take the truth, take the uncomfortable realizations, and don't just let them inspire you. Let them push you into action. Open the spreadsheet, cancel the thing you don't need. Read the book, track your spending, invest the first $10. Build the budget. Start small, but start. Because the longer you wait, the deeper the control. But the sooner you move, the faster you reclaim your life. Mastering money isn't about being rich. It's about being free. Free to choose, free to rest, free to give, free to build a life you're proud to live. And that freedom, it's not in your next paycheck. It's not in some miracle investment. It's in you, your choices, your habits, your mindset, your willingness to stop surviving and start owning. So choose now. Choose clarity. Choose ownership. Choose mastery. Because money is a tool. And tools don't control you, unless you forget how to use them. If this message hit something real inside you, don't just watch and walk away. Take one step today, one decision, one shift. And if this helped you, share it with someone who needs to hear it too. Freedom is better when it's shared.